It's me. Welcome back to Creative Chaos. We just finished game 7 in the first round, and that was the last game for the first round. And so we're going to go through all of our scorecards and see how much we saved with each round, and then we'll get to our picks for the semifinals. So we'll just zoom on in, and if you're ready to go like I am, just keep on watching. Okay, so just to recap on our rules, we have our first one. So you select your team each round. If your team wins, save $2. If your team loses, save $3. And then we got through the play-in already, and we're now into the first round. So each round is a best of 7. If a team wins in 4 games, you save $100. If a team wins in 5 games, you save $75. If a team wins in 6 games, $50. And then if they go to a game 7, then you only save $25. So those are the rules for the first round, and those are the only ones we're going to go by. So we're going to go down to our first round scorecards. First one is between Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat. Cavs won 4 games to none, so that saves me $100. And then because I chose them to win, and that was the correct pick, I also save an extra $2. So I'm going to write that in, that way it's all nice and pretty. $102. Okay, next one, we have the Indiana Pacers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Indiana won 4 games to 1, and that saves me $75. And since I chose the wrong team, I save $3 instead of 2. So we're going to add that to the 75, so it'll be $78. And then next one in the Eastern Conference, New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. New York won in 6 games, 4-2, so that saves me $50. And since I chose correctly, I save an extra $2 for that. So write that in, $52. And then we'll go to our last Eastern Conference first round. Boston Celtics versus the Orlando Magics. Boston won in 5 games, so that saves me $75. And then I also chose correctly, so that saves me an extra $2. So that's a total of $77. So $77. And then we'll move on to our Western Conference. We have OKC Thunder versus Memphis Grizzlies. OKC won in 4 games. That was a given. And since we chose correctly, that's $2 extra, so we're saving $102 for this scorecard. Next one in the Western Conference, Denver Nuggets versus Clippers. The Denver Nuggets won in 7 games, so that saves me $25. And since I chose incorrectly, I save an extra $3. So total on this scorecard is $28. And then we'll go to our last 2. First round Western Conference, Lakers versus the Timberwolves. Timberwolves won in 5 games, so that saves me $75. And since I chose correctly, that saves me an extra $2. So that's $77. And then last one in the Western Conference, Golden State versus Houston Rockets. I chose Golden State, and that was correct. And they went to 7 games, so total saved on this card is $27. I don't know what's wrong with the eraser. Anyways, we'll go up to our rules and scorecard. So the first round in the Eastern side we saved $309, and then the Western side we saved $234. So we're going to use our D4 to roll and see what we're saving for. We have our credit card, student loans, fun and travel, and our month ahead. So our month ahead actually got something already. So if we roll a 4, then we just roll again to see which one gets it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for each one and then just do like a double check mark. Let's make sure we roll onto the screen. So first one was number 1. So number 1 is our credit card. So I'm just going to write that in. I'm going to put CC for credit card. So that's the Eastern Conference side. And then the Western Conference side is number 2. So number 2 is our student loans. So I'm going to put SL for student loans. And then we're going to move on to our semifinals. So our Eastern Conference semifinals, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. I'm choosing the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think they just lost game 1, so I'm going to have to input all of this and the bonuses. I'll go over that at the end. And then I have the Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks. I chose the Celtics, and I think they start playing tomorrow. Western Conference semifinals, OKC Thunder versus Denver Nuggets. I'm going with OKC. And then Western Conference semifinals, we have Minnesota Timberwolves versus Golden State Warriors. This one's a tough one for me, but I'm still going with Golden State, even though Minnesota's really good. I think they're both really good teams. This is going to be a great matchup. I'm going for the Warriors. Who knows? Maybe we'll get 7 more games from them. So I'm going to go over the bonuses really quickly. Okay, so just going over the bonuses and whatnot again. For our Eastern Conference semifinals, we are going to be using these ones again. So each round is a best of 7. If they win in 4 games, it's $100, 5 games, $75, 6 games, $50, and 7 games, $25. And then we have our conference semifinals, conference finals, and NBA final bonuses. So if a team wins with a score of 120 or more points, we're going to save $5. If an individual player scores over 30 points, we're going to save $10. And then each extra player who scores over 30 points will save an extra $2. If a game goes to overtime, we're going to save $20. And then we'll add up all those bonuses for the individual cards. So all those bonuses will go here. And then we still have the best of 7 that'll go here. And then we'll save everything on that scorecard and tally it up. And then we'll go back up to our conference semifinals, and we'll go East versus West again. And I have to change this final one because that's got too many E's. All right, and that's it for the NBA playoffs so far. I hope it's a good matchup this semifinals. Let me know if your team is still in. If not, let me know who you're rooting for. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye.